Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. It's just me today. We're going to do some live coding on SaturnCI. I'll share my screen and get going. Okay, so I don't remember what I was working on. So let's remind ourselves by doing a git diff, get rid of known hosts warning. Okay, I see. All right, and we have a joiner. Welcome, Guillaume. I just started about 20 seconds ago, so you didn't miss much. I did a git
Hello,
diff to re
Jason.
hello.
Sorry.
I did a git diff to remind myself what I was doing last time. This comment says get rid of known hosts warning. So here's what that means. I've recently been working on SSH capabilities for the CI platform. So if I do SaturnCI jobs, it'll show me all my running jobs. And then if I do SaturnCI job and then pass it an ID and do SSH, it will theoretically SSH me into that machine. It's waiting for the machine to be ready right now. This might take about 10 seconds or so.
Oh, you implemented the waiting.
I did. But
Cool.
incidentally, the connection was refused. I don't know why. So that's something to look into apparently, but it seems to be working on the second time. Maybe the connection timed out or something like that. Um, okay. So that worked, but we obviously had this thing that said, "Are you sure you want to continue connecting?" And I think we can get rid of that. Yeah, so I think I can do like a dash O command. How can I make it so it doesn't show a and are you sure you want to continue connecting? Prompt. Welcome, Nick. Okay, let's see what it comes up with for us. It's taking a while. By the way, Nick, where are you located? Feel free to respond verbally or type something in the chat. Okay. Dash O strict host checking equals no. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's see. First, let's see if there's any jobs still running. Looks like it. So we can run the same exact command we just did. Okay, wonderful. So I can say get rid of known hosts warning. Okay, and that should kick off a new build for us. Indeed, it does. Okay. And just out of curiosity, if I do Saturn CI jobs and then I immediately try to SSH into one of these new ones, you get that same issue. Saturn CI job SSH. Okay, we have a message in the chat. Yeah, well, welcome, Nick. Let's see, Eastern Tennessee. I think I've been there. I've been to the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, can you hear me, Jason?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm out of that area. I grew up in Gatlinburg, and so I just live right outside of Gatlinburg.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely been to Gatlinburg. Okay, so it looks like we have an issue here where the connection is refused. Um, if we try to connect too early, that seems to be the case. I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I pardon the interruption, but I'm going to get sorry, not going to get. I'm currently receiving an email. Oh, okay. There's a gentleman who was supposed to join us today to be a mentee, but he's not able to make it due to some weather issues, storms and such. Okay. Um, Connection refused. Okay. Let's ask ChatGPT about this. It seems that I get connection refused if I try to connect too early. Any ideas? SSH service is not yet available on the target host. Okay. Or there's a network issue. I'm going to just try it again. I expect it to work on the second time. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is doing its thing. I'm going to open up my SaturnCI client class. And here's how this is implemented right now. It says if we try to SSH into the job and it doesn't have an IP address, sorry, SSH into the job machine to be more precise. If the job machine doesn't have an IP address, then we sleep for 5 seconds and try again. And we keep trying until we do get an IP address. But it looks like we need to wait not just for an IP address, but to wait until the SSH service is available. But before I add on to this, I want to clean up some sloppiness here. For one, I have no tests for this. And for two, I have some duplication. You can see this and this, they're completely identical. So let's see what we can do about this. Hmm. So this is, what is this thing conceptually? It's like where there's an SSH session. We're trying to we're trying to connect to this machine, but we want to like wait until it's ready. So we have like this connection attempt. Hmm. Connection attempt. I'm just trying to think about how to model this, at least in my mind. I only want to think about the IP address for the moment. So we have a connection attempt and we wait, we repeatedly try, we repeatedly get info about the machine until the info includes the IP address. Hmm. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to just interrupt me. Well, maybe, maybe this. Maybe I'll start adding tests around this stuff, and maybe the domain concepts will become more clear to me once I have some code. Okay. But the question is, where do I want to put this stuff? Do I want to actually move this waiting business into the SSH session? Is that appropriate? Maybe. Maybe it goes inside the connect command. Hmm. Let's think about this. So forget about all this for a second. And let's do this. Like, what if we do this? It's like, oh, I know. It's like, wait for, I don't know, connectability. I don't like that. We'll probably change it in a second. SH session dot. Oh, it should be just called start. Or should it? Start, connect. Any opinion on which is better? I think maybe we start the SSH connection. We don't connect the session. We start the session.
Yeah, start seems reasonable.
Yeah, and we're not waiting for the SSH session to be. We're waiting for the job machine um dot job when ready do. There we go. And we can be even more specific. When ready for SSH. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, there's no such thing as job machine. I do have some model maybe called job machine. No, I actually don't. But I'm not sure that I want to call this a job machine. The fact that it's a job machine is kind of incidental. It's like remote machine. Yeah. Okay. So I do actually have a test for SSH, and if I run it, I think it will fail horribly now because I've changed things so much. Yeah, undefined local variable or method remote machine. All right, so let's fix this one error at a time. So we can say remote machine equals remote machine.new. And of course, it'll say an initialized constant remote machine. Remote machine. Okay, now that error should go away and we should get a different one. Oh, nope, it didn't go away because we're not including it here. Okay, undefined method when ready for SSH. So we can add that. Okay, and it's expecting this output, but it's not getting it. Okay, that's actually kind of surprising because I'm saying output the command here. Oh, that's actually just because we added the strict host key checking thing. Um, Like I've mentioned before, this is a bit of a fragile test, but I expect that as the API firms up, it'll get less fragile over time. I'm wondering about the ready for SSH naming because I feel like the connection refused we get after means that SSH is not really ready. That's an excellent point, Giam, and I definitely think we should address that. Okay, so the test is currently passing, but it doesn't do the right stuff, so the test shouldn't be passing. So we need more test cases. We need a case for when the machine is not ready yet. So I'm going to say context remote machine is ready. No, I'll be even more precise. Remote machine has an IP address. Okay. And we'll say remote machine does not yet have an IP address. It does what? It, well, it just outputs a dot. Is really what it does. Um, so let's see, here's our command and we execute it and we expect it to output dot. And that, of course, will fail. Hmm. Did I do that wrong? Oh, two standard out. Okay. Okay, and it failed, of course. We expected a dot, but we got this command. Okay. And we actually need to adjust the test setup a bit. Okay, so we're setting up this particular body. We don't want to do that globally. We only want to do that here. Okay, and then we want to say before stub body. Yeah. Okay. Now for here, we want to do something a little bit different. We can give it basically the same thing, except no IP address. I don't know if it's nil or empty string. I'll put nil. Okay, yeah, same error. Okay. So I think we want to do something like this. When ready for SSH, we want to put like the the test. It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna want for this. I'm just gonna put something, some kind of placeholder. It's like this is what we want to do. It's like here's how to try to get the IP address. Hmm. Let me think. Huh. I was trying to think. I'm trying to think of a nice logical API for this. So we have this remote machine. We're going to say maybe the first thing we want to do is not when ready for SSH. We want to do remote machine dot something about the IP address. Remote machine dot get IP address. It's like, here's how we get the, oh, what about this? Dot start SSH session. And this actually will happen inside here. I'll just tuck this away for later. Okay. Remote machine dot get IP address. And then that's how we get the IP address. But how do we actually assign, how do we tell, okay. We need the IP address and the job machine RSA key path. Remote machine dot, I don't know, dot something. And then we give it these things. So why do we need the IP address and the RSA key? Well, the IP address is what we're connecting to, and the RSA key is the credentials we need. Hmm. RSA key. I think I want to do this. RSA key path IP address. I think we want something in this API that indicates that it's a loop. Man, this is actually, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm actually going to blow all this away. Okay, so we loop through these things. And it's like the whole reason we're doing this API request is to get the IP address and the RSA key path. It's like we loop through, we repeatedly make this API request until the request contains the IP address. We're polling. Okay, poll do. We poll until the IP address is present. We poll until the IP address is present. So it's like job IP address dot present. And that's like the test. Hmm. Let me think. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. It's like pull until the IP address is present. Okay. Pull until the IP address is present. Hmm. Okay. And I want to connect this to this. Ooh, okay, hang on a second. Pull until remote machine dot IP address dot present. Because when we have this, it's like hang on, what's job? Where's this coming from? That's mysterious. But if we have this, and then we can do this. Okay. I'm still not like super happy with this. This is like syntactically and conceptually weird, I think. But maybe we can do this. Pull for IP address, I'll say at least for now. I'm going to kill this for the moment. Okay, remote machine dot IP address dot present. When remote machine dot IP address dot present do remote machine dot connect. Okay, I don't think I like this, but maybe this is closer. Pull for IP address. The response, get the, yeah. When the remote machine's IP address is present. Maybe we just do this. Hmm. Oh no, we're not getting a machine. We're like getting uh it's like a connectable thing. Remote machine, pull for IP address. Well, it's like a request. It's like an asynchronous request type thing. I'm not doing something like all that novel here. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. Remote machine dot connect. I'm gonna give this to ChatGPT. Can you see what kind of API I'm going for here? Any suggestions for an elegant and intuitive design? Oh, it's availability. We're waiting for availability. You know what? Okay, here's an idea. Okay, remote machine equals remote machine dot new. Remote machine dot wait for availability do. remote machine dot IP address equals job IP address. Okay. And we exit the loop when the IP address is present. It's like break if remote machine dot IP address dot present. IP address. Maybe we want to encapsulate a method that returns an IP address. Maybe not though. Maybe though. IP address method. I don't think I'm going to like this. Let's see. Job IP address. No, I don't want too much like crazy DSL stuff. Call me crazy, but I'm going to go all the way back to the way it was in the very beginning because maybe what I'm trying for is not smart. Okay. This is pretty clear. The only thing I don't really like about it is the manner in which we're getting the job. We're getting the job and we're like repeating this API request and we have this like magic number for the sleep and we're mixing the print in with the other logic. Um, so maybe we can address those issues in like a smarter way. Okay. Let's try this. No, we're not getting the IP address, we're getting like the job. Okay. I'm having such a hard time. Feel free to jump in anytime, guys, and set me straight. Like, okay, for the record, I think this is not terrible. I think this is like a B minus, but I'd like to get it to an A. Okay. Job. So what we really want is we need like connection details. Like it's not exactly that we need the job. It's only incidental that we're getting the job. We need the job's connection details. Okay, how about this? Connection details equals IP address, job IP address, RSA key path, job machine RSA key path. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that here. I'm going to say I'm going to pass it connection details IP address and connection details RSA key path. I actually did that wrong there. Oops. Okay. So now we have these connection details. I feel weird about this while loop. Like it's getting job IP address, but job is getting set inside the while loop. Maybe that's kind of the only way to do it. But can I say connection details IP address dot nil? I'm going to run this test. Okay, it might be stuck in an infinite loop. Okay, but it did it at least. Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay. Huh. Well, connection details is nil. Okay. I think I can do this. Okay. If that is syntactically valid and everything, I think that would be an improvement. I think if I run my test, I'm just going to get the same thing. Oh, no, I don't get the same thing. Undefined local variable or method job ID. Okay. Yeah, that is understandable. Job ID. Hmm. Okay. Let's actually do this. Okay. IP address and RSA key path. Let's have this take a single argument of connection details. No, you know what? Let's do this. IP address and RSA file path. There we go. And then that can just be that. Okay. Wrong number of arguments, client 68. Okay, what did I do? Oh, yeah. Okay. And now it hangs forever, which is not surprising. Okay. Now I'm gonna manually test it and see what happens. I reran that build so we'd have a job available to connect to. I won't be surprised if this totally just crashes and burns. Okay, so far so good. Okay, given one, expected zero. I think we have to pass the keyword arguments a little bit different than the way I am. Okay, I'm gonna run just the test for the valid case. Yeah, and it gives us the same thing. Okay, I should have started here. Okay, Saturn client. I think maybe we need to do something like this. Okay. When a method takes keyword arguments and I have a hash that matches the args, how do I convert the hash to keyword arguments? Oh, double splat. Okay. Missing keyword RSA file path. Okay. Oh, RSA key path. Okay. Um, SSH session. Okay. RSA key path, RSA file path. Okay. RSA file, RSA key. I mean, maybe I should call it RSA key file path. I'm not sure. Okay, so that test passes now. Okay, so I think we're in the land of syntactical validity. Okay. So according to my manual test, everything still works. But this was only one possible case. This wasn't the case of a machine that's not ready yet. So let's trigger that build again and try to connect to it right away. Okay. Okay, we're waiting. What's the typical number of dots we have to wait? Oh, apparently 4. Okay, so that worked. Okay, wonderful. I feel like maybe committing, because that was an improvement. I think it's an improvement worth keeping. All right, but this remote machine thing that I added, that's not real. So let me get rid of that. Okay, so I'll just say refactoring. Okay. Okay. So well, connection details, job ID, IP address is nil. Print a dot and sleep 5. Yeah, I actually like this because now the business of getting our hands on the IP address and the RSA key path, those things are abstracted away. But I feel like having this connection details business in this SaturnCI client class is inappropriate. This client is the equivalent of like a Rails controller. It should be responsible for parsing arguments and then just routing us to the correct action. But this is doing more than that. And with respect to the SaturnCI client, this is a very peripheral concern. So let's relegate this to its appropriate place. Hmm. Okay. We get this API request, connection details for this remote machine. Where could we put this? Well, I'll just do like the dumbest thing possible. I'll go to like remote machine.rb. And then I'll put this here. Oops. Okay. Okay, so in theory, I think we could do something like this, but this will, of course, not work. For one, there's no remote machine. Let's add that. Undefined method request for remote machine. Yeah, here's where we start to run into trouble. So we have this request method in the SaturnCI client, which allows us to succinctly make an API request to the SaturnCI API. We're trying to call it from here. Connection details. By the way, first of all, I think I want to do this. We'll pass the job ID to remote machine. Okay. And then we can pass to connection details a I was gonna say we could pass it a block. Connection details. Can I do this? Request. Maybe I don't like, maybe I don't want to do that. Okay. Oh, maybe, okay, here's a different idea. Response. And actually, that's not a response, that's a request. Request dot, I don't want to say send. Dot, well, I guess it's call because it's a proc. Okay. Response equals lock dot call. So actually, no, I think we don't want the dot call in here. Okay. So I'd be very surprised if I got all that stuff right. Okay. Yeah, basic syntax error here. Wrong number of arguments. Client 62. Oh, yeah, I don't want and block. I just want block. Undefined method connection details for client. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, that actually works. And I should update this to match request. Whoops, sorry. Request.call. Okay. Okay, let's evaluate. We have this request because my intention was to not couple the HTTP request business with this remote machine. Connection. And maybe this class should be connection details. Maybe it should. Okay. All right. Connection details equals connection details dot new job ID. We rename this connection details. Okay. And we also pass it the request. Oh, and it only needs the job ID to make the request. We only need to pass it the request. Okay, so that doesn't need to take an argument. Well, obviously it shouldn't be called connection details anymore. I don't know what to call this. I'm just going to call this get for the moment. Connection details dot get. Ooh, dot refresh. Maybe. It's at least better than get. Um, yes. Okay, I'm feeling good about this. Does the test pass? No, it doesn't. Oh yeah. It's not remote machine anymore. It's connection details. Okay. Okay. And can you pass a block to a constructor? What would that even be? Okay, no, never mind. I don't want to get that crazy yet. Okay, but I do maybe want to do this. Okay, let's see if I managed to not mess anything up. Surprisingly, I did manage not to mess anything up. Okay. Okay. I think this is I'm like pretty happy with how this is shaping up. Connection details equals connection details dot new, and here's the request we use to get those details. Um, While the connection details dot refresh IP address is nil, print a dot and sleep. Um, and then once we're done waiting, we connect. Yeah. Okay. One more small improvement. Wait interval in seconds. I always like to suffix it with the unit.
I, I keep kind of wanting to think of like line 62 as like, like instead of wait, like, or while, like until connection details available.
Oh, yes. Okay. Don't let me forget that. I definitely want to come back to that. Okay, so I'm going to manually test this again. Oh, something in the chat. I think job ID is no longer needed in new class. Oh, that must have been from a while ago. Sorry for missing that. Yeah. Okay. Jobs. It's not given any dots so far. Connection refused. Interesting. Well, I guess we haven't fixed that particular problem yet. But it's surprising to me that we didn't see the dots. Well, let's continue and let's continue to write tests. So I think this one test still doesn't pass. Yeah, it just hangs forever. So when it gets here, what happens? And sadly, I have to go pretty soon. I feel like we're just getting to the good part. Okay, so somehow it doesn't even get to there. See if it gets to there. It's possible to pass an argument to change the timeout for the SSH command. Oh, okay. Okay, so where is it getting hung up? Are we at least getting to here? No? Okay. This is weird. Are we at least getting to here? Yes. Okay. Oh, now it gets to here. Okay. It gets to here as well. Okay. And that all looks fine and good. Okay. Yeah, and here, of course, the IP address is going to be nil. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there it's nil. Yeah. So because the IP address is nil, sorry, let me get rid of these pries because they're distracting me. Because the IP address is nil and there's no way for it to ever not be nil, it just gets stuck in an infinite loop. So I want the test to step through this loop incrementally, but I don't know how to get it to do that. Oops. Okay, I kind of suspected it would tell us to make the stub return a different value on a subsequent call. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So here's the current way we're doing the stubbing. Remote machine eventually gets an IP address. Okay. Okay. So it looks like we can do and return with a hash. Okay. What does API helper stub body look like? Yeah. Okay. Is there a way to achieve the same thing with webmock? Not that that's necessarily the way I think I want to go. Let's see. It's having a stub. What is it having a stub? Refresh. Does that make sense? What are we testing? We're we're saying that when the IP address goes from we're saying when it goes from nil to not nil, it prints one dot and then it outputs this command. Um, Nil to not nil. Yeah, maybe it does make sense to stub refresh because of course you want to test the thing you're testing, not its dependencies, and you want to stub the dependencies. So from the perspective of this method, connection details refresh, I think, is just a dependency. Okay. Yeah, so maybe let's do it that way. Okay, allow. Okay. I'm going to try this. Allow any instance of connection details to receive refresh and return this stuff. I'm just going to see what happens when I run that. Oh yeah, I got to put it in it before. Okay. Um, that actually is the expected output. Yes. Okay. And the reason it took a period of time is because it was waiting 5 seconds, of course. So we can stub that also, and we can make that value a much smaller amount of time. But I don't remember how to do it. How can I stub wait interval in seconds to be 0.001 seconds? And actually, maybe I don't know why I wouldn't just set it to 0. I'll just set it to 0. But the question is, what's the syntax to stub a class constant? Yeah, stub const. That's what I was looking for. Am I using that anywhere else? Stub const. Const. Looks like it. Okay, connection details. Wait interval in seconds. I'll change it to 0. There, now the test still passes, but now it runs much faster. Okay. So I definitely have to go soon, but let's see. We have these connection details. We have this request. Well, connection details dot refresh IP address is nil. Print a dot and wait that amount of time. Yes. And conceivably, maybe we even want to move this stuff into SSH session, but obviously we're not going to deal with that right now. Okay. I feel like this is an improvement over what we had before. Maybe not a huge improvement, but I think a meaningful one and worth the hour and change we spent on it. Um, and of course, part of that hour was figuring out how to write a test for this, which I actually didn't find all that easy. Okay, but I, in general, am happy. Let's review the changes before we commit. No surprises. Refactoring. Add tests, refactor. Okay. Okay, and the test suite failed these last few times. I do always try to maintain a passing test suite, but I allowed it to get into a non-passing state because of this stuff. But I expect that on this run, it will pass. But we don't have time to stick around and find out. So I guess we'll find out next time. Very last thing before we go, I want to leave like a hanging loose end so I'm reminded of what I want to do next. Okay, so Nick, remind me your idea that you had. Whoops.
Oh, I don't know if it's a good idea. I was just, when I was reading over 62, I kind of wanted to think of it as like we're waiting until the connection details are available.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea either, but maybe it is. Let's try it on for size and see until connection details dot ready or something like that.
Yeah, maybe ready's a better way to think of
Or
it.
what was your wording?
I said available, but I think it ready sounds good as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and even ready is not quite the thing because it's like it's not the connection details that are ready or available. They're either present or not present.
Yeah, correct. You're right.
But if I use the word present, that has other implications, so I don't want to use that. Connection details. I mean, I could do something like this, but that doesn't imply, it doesn't communicate that that refresh is happening.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Could do that. I think I actually like that. What do you
Yeah,
think, Nick?
yeah.
Okay.
Connection details refresh. Yeah.
Okay, so now I can pick this up next time and I can see this comment and be like, oh yeah, we want to take this made up API that we made up just now and make that actually work.
Yeah, because yeah, we're refreshing for the IP address to be present. So yeah, I think that reads good.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And I suspect that there's, of the 4 people watching this on YouTube, I suspect there's a fraction of the audience who thinks this is great and a fraction of the audience who thinks this is insanity and a giant waste of time. Um, and I'm not actually sure which one I would agree with at this point, but I hope we're not being crazy and wasting time. Anyway, thanks guys for joining me.
Yeah.
Quick reminder that I offer a free mentorship program. If you go to codewithjason.com, the link is pretty easy to find, and you don't have to be you don't have to have any programming experience to apply, and you can be even more experienced than me and apply because I think people still have things to offer each other even if you're not more experienced and stuff like that. All right, thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much.